Star Wars Squadrons has deeper customization than any other starfighter game. If you want to modify a Y-Wing to be faster and deal high damage, you can do that. If you want to mod an X-Wing to have more firepower against capital ships, you can do that. If you want to improve a starfighter's boosting capabilities, its shields, its blasters, if you value health regeneration over firepower, if you'd rather take proximity mines instead of extra torpedoes, you can do all of that. If you'd like a hologram of Salacious Crumb on your dashboard opposite a pod racer or an Ewok bobblehead, you can have those things. Star Wars Squadrons gives you the tools to fly however you like, or how you've always wanted. Hey everyone, it's Andrew. If you saw my last video, you'll know that recently EA invited me to play Star Wars Squadrons. I got to test out all the different ships, try some of the different modifications and components, try all the game modes, have a play around with cosmetic customization, and share what I saw with you guys. The amount of customization in this game is staggering. I played for about 4 hours, and between all 8 different starfighters in the game, I've barely had the time to test more than just a few loadouts. The fact you have 7 mechanical customization options for your starfighter means there are hundreds of combinations of starfighter loadouts to create, using the game's 60 or so different customization options. Crazy, that's a lot of customization. So today, I'm going to be taking an in-depth look at mechanical customization in Star Wars Squadrons, all the components that affect your ship's weapons, maneuverability, shields, health, and more. I'll go over every component customization option in the game. There's a lot here that I want to share with you guys, and hopefully this will give you some deeper insights into the game and how gameplay works and feels. And also soon, I'm thinking of making a video answering some of your questions about Star Wars Squadrons. So if you have any questions about the game, you can leave them down below in the comments, and I might make that in the next few days. So each class of starfighter in the New Republic and Empire actually have the same components, as far as I can tell. For example, the X-Wing has the same components as the TIE Fighter, the same weapons, same shield, same everything, although the components will have different names. All the New Republic shields are built by multiple manufacturers like Incom Corporation, a bunch of others, so there's lots of different weapon and component brands, whereas everything in the Empire is made by Sinar Fleet Systems. So starting off with the X-Wing, the fighter class is your all-round kind of class, good for both attacking capital ships and other starfighters, and everything here is going to be the same as the TIE Fighter. The X-Wing standard primary weapon is the standard tame and back KX-8 laser cannon, which deals good damage at a decent rate of fire. And looking at this, I'm noticing that there's a stat for ammo capacity. For your primary weapon, this is just the amount of shots you can fire before you have to wait for it to cool down. But for your other abilities, which do have limited ammo capacities, as you're playing Squadrons, there are multiple ways of resupplying, either picking up a dropped support package from support class ships, or flying back to your capital ship or frigates will also resupply ammo. And part of what I love about all the mechanical customization options I'm about to show you is that they either already exist in Star Wars canon or will so after Squadrons releases. Like the first weapon, it's not just the standard blaster cannon, it's the Tame and Back KX-8. Tame and Back are a company in Star Wars lore which produced weaponry for starships during this time period. So everything you see here, the Incom Corporation, the Sinar systems for the Empire, everything you see fits into the universe. I'm sure the developers are proud that they're actually creating Star Wars canon. Next is the Churka Burst Cannon, basically a burst fire weapon. A lot of the weapon system is based on a standard FPS game. This is basically a first-person shooter space battle starfighter game. So this is the burst fire weapon. The Churka Guided Burst Cannon is similar to the previous component, although has an auto-aim feature. The Krupix JR-89 Ion Cannon deals higher damage to shields and can also disable starfighters and subsystems. Ion weapons also fire blue blasts, and the Plasburst Laser Cannon is a charged weapon. If you hold the fire button down for longer, the blast this cannon releases will be more powerful, although it has a very short range. So a lot of variety you can see here already in the X-Wing standard weapons. Next up are the Auxiliaries, and first we have the Cryotech Emergency Repair Droid, which regenerates your health over a short period of time once you activate this. Next is the Krupix MG5 Concussion Missile, and just a heads up, all of these auxiliaries are also on your right auxiliary, so it's both left and right. I don't think you can have two of the same auxiliaries equipped all at once, although I could be wrong about that. I don't remember getting to test that, didn't get time. But this one is your standard lock-on missile, which when locked on will chase the target, and these can also be fired without a lock-on by double tapping the button. Next is the Krupix MG7 Proton Torpedo, which is your go-to torpedo for attacking capital ships. It deals very high damage from a long range, but has a long lock-on time. The Giril EP Ion Missile is a lock-on missile that disables enemy starfighters, loving these ion attacks. It also deals high damage on capital ships and shields. Next, the Chepat Emergency Assault Shield, which when pressed makes you receive significantly less damage from the front for a short duration, 3 seconds. And this is for when you're making a run towards a capital ship, when you're going directly at one. The Armec Barrage Rockets fires a barrage of missiles straight ahead. This one doesn't have any lock-on capability, so you'll have to shoot it straight, have good aim, and they deal high damage if you hit your shot, but like I said, you have to be either real close to your enemy or have great aim to use these effectively. And the Krupix Ion Torpedo deals high shield and subsystem damage, and has a very long lock-on time, but is great for long-range capital ship attacks. Okay, so next up we have the countermeasures, the Armec HM Secret Warheads. You start off with 4 of these, and they find multiple projectiles that are locked onto you and intercept the missiles before they hit you, hopefully. Overall, I found using these to be quite effective, and usually I could evade the missile. It was only very few times where fire this off and I'd still be hit by a missile. The Particle Burst drops a cloud behind your starfighter that stops auxiliary projectiles from hitting you. Although when you press this, you have to try fly straight so that the missiles hit the cloud. The Melee Hat Sensor Jammer. Locked on missiles lose their target and no one can lock onto you for the next 4 seconds. This ability has a long cooldown, but it's probably the most effective of the 3 because it always works. Next up, we have your starfighter's hull customization. The Incom Ferroceramic hull is basically your standard all-round hull with decent health. The Slain and Corporal Lamina Steel hull makes your ship take less damage from missiles, but more damage from lasers. The Chepat Deflector hull increases your shield health, but decreases your overall health. So if you want to rely more on your shields, you should use this because your shield's health actually regenerates while your hull's health doesn't. The Fabritech Dampener hull makes enemies take a lot longer to lock onto your starfighter, but you also have less health. It also counters lock-on weapons such as tractor beams and ion missiles. The Slipstream Light hull is your fast and speedy go-to hull. You have less health, but significantly increased acceleration and maneuverability, which affects your turning speed. This is the one I'm going to be using the most. The Coensayer Reinforced hull significantly increases your max health, but also makes acceleration and maneuverability much more difficult. Basically makes your X-Wing more buff. And the Carbanti Reflect hull prevents enemies from targeting you at long range, but has a weaker max health. This is the Stealth hull for sneaking around the space battle. Next up is the shields, and just a heads up, TIE fighters, TIE interceptors, and TIE bombers don't actually have shields because they canonically in Star Wars don't have shields. So those ships only have 6 customization slots. But on the X-Wing, the standard Incom Deflector shield is your go-to regular shields that provide a good balance between damage resistance and energy regeneration. And also just another heads up, all starfighters have the same shields and hulls. There's no differences between the Y-Wing's shields and the X-Wing shields, they're all the same. And all starfighters also have the same engines. The Surplex Nimble Deflector reduces your shield's health, but significantly increases your shield's regeneration time. I feel like this could be combined with the Slipstream Light hull for hit and run tactics. You know, when you just want to get in and out really quickly without taking too much damage. You're too fast to take damage. The Fabritech Scrambler shield significantly increases enemies' lock-on time if you have 100% shields or higher, but these shields also take longer to regenerate. The Krupix Conversion shield is quite a unique shield. When your shields reach 0, this will exchange ammo for a brief but nearly invincible shield barrier. So you won't have ammo, but you'll be almost invincible. Great great for getting out of the way. The Lorona Ray Shield makes your starfighter take less damage from primary weapons, but more damage from auxiliary components such as missiles.
Activate Ray Shields!
The Chempat Fortified Deflector increases your max shields but makes them regenerate slower, another tankier component to equip. The Giral Resonance Shield actually affects your lasers, giving them rapid ammo regeneration when shields are fully overcharged, and this also lowers your max shields. And the Overloaded Shield, an extremely powerful shield with large regeneration. This reduces your overall damage, but your shields won't regenerate if they're fully depleted. And finally, the engines. First is the Incom Sublight engine, which is your stock standard overall engine. Decent speed, decent handling. Next is the Quad-X Jet engine, which increases the regeneration of your boost charge. This is great for quickly boosting in and out of situations, and also for using the drift mechanic. The Unstable Sublight engine gives you faster acceleration and top speed, but lowers your health and shields. Also, when you're defeated, your starfighter will explode, and this can damage nearby enemies. I think I'll take this one as well. Run and gun, less health, but you're way faster and you explode. Come on, how is that not amazing? The Coensayer Micro Thrust engine lowers your max speed and acceleration, but makes you turn faster. I think this one works great for chasing down other starfighters. You can turn a lot quicker. The Incom Slam engine decreases your ship's max speed, but also allows you to regenerate boost while there's any power in the engines. So this one's good for quickly boosting around the battlefront, or the space paddle, I guess. The Coensayer Thrust engine increases your max speed, but lowers acceleration and deceleration. And the Quad-X Propulsion engine allows your ship to reach max speed and stop very quickly, basically changing your acceleration and deceleration. So quick starts and quick stops. Okay, so next up we have the YWing and the TIE Bomber. And first, just looking at the lasers, I'm not going to go over any of the ones I've already talked about. Some of the components between different ship classes cross over, so I'll just leave those ones out. So from now on, I'm only covering the new components I haven't talked about yet. The Krupik's Guided Rotary Cannon has a short wind-up time before it starts firing, but then shoots extremely quickly. This is an auto-aim weapon, so it does most of the work for you if you point it in the right direction. The Krupik's Heavy Rotary Cannon is similar, although without the auto-aim, and it also deals a little extra damage. And the Krupik's JR-89 Ion Cannon deals damage to shields and disables enemy starfighters and subsystems. If you'll notice here on the Y-Wing, this component actually adds the turret on the top. Onto auxiliaries, we have the RMech Automatic Ion Cannon, which automatically fires at attacking targets when activated. This also works kind of like a countermeasure, disabling enemy starfighters if they get hit. The Arakid MD-88 Multi-Lock Missile fires missiles at multiple targets at the same time. I like the sound of that. The Churka Seeker Mine drops a mine behind you, and this mine will lock on and chase enemies that fly too close to it and then also explode. The Armech Goliath Missile is a homing missile with a huge blast radius, so even if it doesn't hit its target, there's still a chance it'll deal some damage. The Quarry Composite Beam Cannon is that attack we all saw in the trailers. Your ship fires a large beam, which is great for attacking capital ships, but you'll also struggle to turn while using this ability. It renders your turning kind of useless. The Arakid PW-16 Proton Bomb drops a bomb underneath your ship, which is great for attacking capital ships. I feel like this is similar to what we saw in the original Battlefront 2 from 2005. The Y-Wing had this. The Tame and Back Ion Bomb is also great against capital ships, and rapidly tapping the fire button drops bombs underneath your ship. And everything else between this and what I've already talked about is the same. So next up, we have the A-Wing and the TIE Interceptor. They have a standard blaster as well as the Giral RF Rapid Fire Cannon, which is basically like an SMG, firing extremely quickly but with short clip and short range. Onto the auxiliaries, and the Incom E73 Repair Kit regenerates your hull over a short duration. The Kessler IF-42 Cluster Missile fires a cluster of lock-on missiles at the same target. They all go after them at once. I really like the idea of that. The Carbanti Targeting Jammer temporarily hides excludes you from the enemy radar. The Kessler Quick Lock missile has a faster lock-on than most other missiles, but deals less damage. And the A-Wing has a unique countermeasure, the Carbanti sensor inverter, which redirects a missile locked onto you back towards the person who fired it. It sounds great, but it only works at a very close range. And next is the U-Wing and TIE Reaper, the support class. Again, they have a standard blaster and then the Giral EM-8V auto-aim cannon. This is an auto-aim weapon that deals good damage at a decent rate of fire with average capacity. Onto auxiliaries, we have the Arachid Tactical Supply Droid, which launches a droid into space that will repair and give ammo to the first ally that goes near it. The Tame and Back Turret Mine drops a turret behind you that will float in space and automatically fire at nearby enemies. It's like a little droid you can drop out into space. It lasts for 25 seconds. The Carbanti Targeting Beacons auto-targets nearby enemies and marks them. And marked targets are unable to use countermeasures and also take additional damage. Very support-based role and ship. The Incom Light Tractor Beam. Interesting that a tractor beam is an actual ability in the game. It's really cool. It significantly slows down enemy starfighters when they're hit by it. This is something you have to lock on, but it has no effect on capital ships. You can't draw a gigantic capital ship in towards you using a tractor beam. The Fabritech Squadron Mask temporarily hides all nearby allies from the enemy radar. The Irona Tactical Shield auto-targets a nearby ally and gives them bonus shields on top of their own. It's really cool for supporting a key player in the match. And that's pretty much everything for mechanical component customization. Honestly, having been through all these customization options, I do kind of wish there were some more significant differences between the New Republic and Empire. From all the customization options, I can't really see any difference apart from the names. I could be wrong about this, maybe I just haven't looked close enough, but now that you've seen all this, do you think there's enough customization in the game? Were you expecting more ship abilities, more customization options, or do you think what we've got here is good? I think there's a lot of different options to fly different styles of starfighters. You can do an attacking loadout, something much more focused on helping your teammates, a loadout that's focused on attacking specifically enemy starfighters, you can do bombing runs, and lots more. So what type of ship and loadout do you think you'll be flying in Squadrons? Let me know in the comments. And just yesterday, I made a video that was more focused on Squadrons gameplay mechanics and the maps, game modes, and a few other really unique details about this game. So you can watch that video here. And follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and join my Discord for lots more Star Wars gaming, news, Star Wars Squadrons screenshots, and lots more. And thanks for watching this. My name's Andrew. I'll catch you soon.
Stay bombastic.